Welcome to Roughcut, a student-produced variety show presented by the National Broadcasting Society's chapter at Bloomsburg University. I'm your host this week, Matt Locke. We've got a great show lined up, so we'll kick it off first with the NBS News Desk to get an update on what's happening on campus, in town, and beyond.
Good evening to you on this Tuesday night. I'm Jake Hare.
And I'm Deanna Jackson. Welcome to the News Desk.
After a routine audit to the university's computers, longtime and well-known Bloomsburg professor Scott Lau has been arrested for child pornography. According to Attorney General Josh Shapiro, Lau was charged with criminal use of a communication facility and 4 counts of possessing child pornography. 4 photos were found on the hard drive of the former professor's university-supplied computer. Authorities picked Lau up at his home after one of the photos appeared to be of a 7 to 10-year-old girl missing articles of clothing. Lau's bail was set to $250,000 and is being held in the Columbia County Prison.
The 2018 Winter Olympics are coming to an end this Sunday, and a Russian athlete who won a bronze medal in curling is headed to Seoul for a secondary drug test. Alexander Krushelnitsky failed his preliminary doping test, putting his bronze medal in jeopardy and highlighting the decision to welcome 168 Russian athletes to Pyeongchang, after the country was supposedly banned for doping in Sochi 4 years ago. The Russian competed in mixed doubles with his wife. The doping incident makes him the first athlete from Russia to come under fire for using a banned substance in South Korea. The substance, meldonium, is a heart medicine used to increase blood flow and aid heart attack victims. The drug was banned in most sports since 2016, and it was commonly used by Russian athletes before that, including Maria Sharapova, who was banned for 15 months after she failed a test at the Australian Open in January of 2016. The timing could not have been worse for Russia. The country is hoping that their athletes would be able to march under their own flag at the closing ceremony this Sunday.
Nicholas Cruz, at only 19 years old, is going down as a facilitator for one of the deadliest school shootings in American history. The shooting spree killed 14 students and 3 faculty members right before the last period of the day. A well-known faculty and football coach, Aaron Feast, died while using his body to block a classroom door and shield bullets from harming some students. Cruz is being held without bail at the Broward County Jail, where he is also on suicide watch. He faces 17 counts of premeditated murder, according to the New York Times. Stick around for the hot spot, the wrap-up, and this week's Digital Short. I'm Jake Hare.
And I'm Deanna Jackson. Thank you for watching and have a great night.
Next up, we'll get an update in the sports world featuring Jimmy Brown, Jake McDonald and company.
Normally, baseball season brings high emotions. People are feeling better. The weather is getting warmer. And while that still may be the case this year, I got to tell you, as a Baltimore Orioles fan / media coverer, wearing this tie right now is getting more and more hard. I mean, where do I start? The Orioles went into spring training, the beginning of spring training last week with pitchers and catchers reporting, with 2 starting pitchers in their rotation. A rotation that finished towards the bottom of the league in 2017 in terms of ERA. This was the same rotation that tied a Major League record by allowing 5 or more runs in 20 straight games. And what did the Orioles do to improve over the offseason? Last week, they just signed a right-handed pitcher, Andrew Kashner, entering his 30s now. And while I agree that is a solid third piece in this rotation, there's still so much more work to be done. I mean, you have names like Jake Arrieta out there who have a history with the Orioles, but a more realistic option, because they do need to add one more veteran here, is Chris Tillman, who we don't even know the status of his arm. I mean, ever since his injury at the end of the 2016 season, he had to change his arm motion, wasn't nearly the same pitcher last year. And even he's getting interest from other teams like the Phillies, who need starting pitching help. If they don't move fast, they're going to run out of options. But the good news is, because of all the lack of signings this offseason in Major League Baseball, there are still some options out there, but time is running out. But that's just one issue. The other issue is the man that's making all of these decisions in charge of the player personnel, Dan Duquette. His contract expires at the end of the season. He's a lame duck, as is Buck Showalter. Both these guys who are in charge of the team, whether it's on the field or player personnel, we don't even know what their status is following this season. And let's not forget, General Manager Dan Duquette tried to jump ship for the Toronto Blue Jays 5 years ago, but Stubborn owner Peter Angelos, Baltimore Orioles owner who's been deemed unworkable in the past, forced him to stay there. And what does that say? Ever since that move happened, I've known for a fact that Duquette doesn't want to be there, and you can tell from his lip service, all of his generic answers, that he's all checked out.
NBA All-Star Weekend has came and went just that fast. It's the middle part of the season. Teams are starting to get ready for playoffs, but it's always good to see them have a little fun with NBA All-Star Weekend, which is personally one of my favorites. It started with the Celebrity All-Star Game and ended with the NBA All-Star Game, which developed a new format where LeBron James and Steph Curry were the captains. They get to pick some of their favorite players in the NBA. Unfortunately, it wasn't televised, which I think would have been a very interesting idea to do. Maybe that's something to think about in the future. But the teams went head-to-head, and it was an incredible format. I actually like this format, and I hope they continue to do this. The dunk contest was on Saturday. Donovan Mitchell happened to win that. In the three-point contest, Devin Booker took that away.
College basketball season? Please, someone explain this to me. I'm Corey Zimmerman with your college basketball update for the week. Upsets all the way around in college basketball with no dominant team so far this year. Texas Tech, a top 10 team this year, falls to unranked Baylor. Now Baylor, with a 5-game winning streak, also upsetting Kansas, a top 25 team, earlier this week. Auburn, another team that cracked the top 10, upset by South Carolina on the road Saturday afternoon by a 7-point margin. And how about Oklahoma? Trae Young's inconsistency is the reason why. Unless Trae Young is playing at a high level, this Oklahoma basketball team is nowhere to be found, as they will drop out of the top 25 this week. At the end of the day, there may not be no favorite in the college basketball season, with Selection Sunday just around the corner. I'm Corey Zimmerman, and I'll be back in just a short few weeks with your tournament bracket.
It is 2 weeks now since the Super Bowl has ended, and Eagles fans still relishing in that first Lombardi trophy ever. Feels great, but it's time to start looking at next season. The NFL Scouting Combine kicks off February 27th at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, and there's a lot of hype about these quarterbacks in the draft, but I just really don't know about any of them. Baker Mayfield, I'm really scared that he's too small. 6'1", I mean, he was good in college, but we've seen quarterbacks not named Drew Brees, obviously, because Drew Brees is Drew Brees. But we've seen quarterbacks just as small as Baker Mayfield that came into the NFL and have done nothing. And Baker Mayfield may not have the same partying habits as Johnny Manziel, but I'm really worried that something off the field is going to take our attention away from what Baker does on the field, and he's just going to kind of dissipate, and no one's going to hear from him for a long time, just like Johnny Manziel did. Josh Rosen and Sam Darnold, UCLA and USC respectively, both out of the Pac-12, are both very injury-prone. Josh Rosen had a concussion this season. Sam Darnold had shoulder issues. I just really don't know how any of them are, or how either of them are going to hold up against an NFL pass rush. Josh Allen is really the only quarterback that I think can be something in the NFL. He has a great, strong presence in the pocket. He can move the pocket as well and still deliver a ball downfield. Has great red zone awareness. Can fit any pass into the tightest of windows. And for a college quarterback to show that, to be able to perform like that with the same kind of consistency that Josh Allen did this season, I think he's really the only one that can potentially be something, and that's if he doesn't get drafted by a Browns or another team that needs a quarterback that are just going to throw them in right away. Josh Allen is going to be good, but they've got to give him time to adapt. We will be right back here to talk about the NFL draft once it happens, but for now, I'm Matt Locke, and this has been NFL Talk. Keeping it in the studio, we'll get an update on the entertainment world from Hotspot.
Hey everyone, I'm Madison Scheich.
And I'm Marilise Lorario.
And welcome to Hotspot, your all-access pass to everything entertainment news. Well, starting off today, we're going to talk about the elephant in the room, or in this case, the one on the basketball court. Anyways, as I'm sure you've all heard, Fergie was not so glamorous when it came to her performance at the NBA All-Star Game last week. With Fergie's rendition of the national anthem, most players and other A-list celebs were not impressed in the least and resulted to sharing their comments on social media. After backlash, Fergie responded with the statement, "I've always been honored and proud to perform the national anthem, and last night I wanted to try something special for the NBA. With all due respect to my childhood queen, I think I speak for all of us when I say we would love if you stuck to Fergalicious and left the national anthem to its original version."
Emma Watson, also known as Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter series, is using her magic outside of the Deathly Hallows. This young actress donated $1.4 million to the Justice and Equality Fund. This organization fights against sexual harassment, assault, and discrimination. Watson shared a picture with some heartfelt words on Instagram recently, saying, "Together we can spread our message, support the strong people of all genders who are taking such personal risks and making sure that this is one of those watershed moments in history where things never go back to the way they were before. This is the moment we stand together and say, #time's up." When looking through pictures posted with that hashtag, it has become very clear that there are so many that have been personally affected by this. And to shed some light on this darkness going through Hollywood and all other parts of the world on this subject, I think we can all agree that sometimes we just need celebrities to use some of their magic.
Before we wrap it up, I want to give a shout out to Post Malone, who released his newest single, Psycho, featuring Ty Dolla $ign at 12 a.m. on the dot last night.
This song is nothing less than amazing, and you can check it out on Apple Music, Spotify, SoundCloud, and many other platforms. But that's all we have for tonight. Thanks so much for tuning in.
We'll see you next time on Hotspot.
NBS Digital Shorts is next, featuring Drew Fox and crew.
Hello, sir. It's good to meet you. Okay.
Hello, Mr. Barlow.
Yes, sir. That's me. Here is my resume, and here is my cover letter. I expect that it will exceed your expectations.
This resume is a Chinese takeout menu, and you spelled your name wrong.
Yeah, I did. It's Latin for Warab.
You're just not funny, so just stop talking.
Yes, sir. No more jokes.
How could you improve my company?
Well, sir, I was thinking I could help save the financial department by...
No, you can't.
Yes, sir. But I...
No, you really can't.
I'm sorry. I am your clay, Mr. Fox. Please mold me.
That right there was the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life.
I'm sorry, sir. It's been a dream to work here, and you know I have an interview here finally, and I'm here, and you know here is here, and
don't be such a kiss ass. You're wasting my time. What, you gonna cry for me? You gonna cry for me, little baby? Little cry baby? You gonna cry? You guess what? Pimps don't cry. This is the real world. This is where real shit happens. You're gonna cry in the corner? Is there anything special about you? Like anything at all? Get out of my office now, you pathetic piece of shit. Oh, and by the way, I'll see you tomorrow.
What?
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. You got the job.
What? Thank you. Thank you, sir. Well, I'm Eric Barlow, and this is the ASL Ice Bucket Challenge.
Oh, that's hot. Oh, that's really, really hot. Ow, it burns. Woo! Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Woo!
That's all we have for Roughcut this week. Be sure to follow Bloomsburg NBS on all of our social media accounts and join us in 2 weeks for the next episode. For all of us here at Bloomsburg NBS, I'm Matt Locke, signing off.